Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy comedians in the comedy industry. Rob Schneider went on Twitter. He declared the United States must restore the military draft for our nation's young people. Schneider said each and every American at 18 years of age must serve 2 years of military service. They could also choose to serve part of that time overseas or in a country in a volunteer capacity. Being a citizen of the United States gives us unparalleled freedoms and opportunities that are the envy of the world. However, these freedoms that we cherish do not come without a cost. Schneider continued, by protecting and preserving these freedoms, young people, regardless of race, creed, and religion, will be united in service to their country and, just as importantly, to each other. Many nations around the world require their young citizens to serve their country. Until recently, our nation did as well. Schneider, who has never served in the military, said by reinstating the draft, young Americans would be, quote, put into a rigorous physical training course that they could use for the rest of their lives. He also claimed that, unlike in today's universities, the military would teach them how truly great their country is. I'll jump in there. I teach at 2 universities. I will swear on a Bible, no one has ever come to me and told me what to say or not. Not once. Not at all. If there's a conspiracy, I haven't run into it yet. Rob Schneider said, to the young people of America, this is your country and your future. We will leave this great free nation in your good hands for your children and your children's children. God bless the United States of America. Schneider had referred to the draft as, until recently, the last military draft in the United States was December 7th, 1972. Actor Michael Imperioli shared on Instagram, I've got a better idea. Let's just send Rob to Iran to perform his comedy. They'll surrender immediately and unconditionally. We'll stay somewhat political for a moment. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani joined former Republican rival Curtis Sliwa for a comedy sketch. If you're from the New York area, you know who Curtis Sliwa is. For everybody else, he's that Guardian Angels guy that wears the red beret. You know who I'm talking about now? Mamdani and Sliwa participated in the sketch at the New York City Inner Circle dinner over the weekend. The sketch, apparently about cat adoptions, has gone viral. The viral clip shows Curtis Sliwa joking about destroying sinister old political dynasties. Mamdani jokes about being a content creator who does a little governing on the side. Not an inaccurate description. Curtis Sliwa told the New York Post he thought the sketch was great because it was promoting rescuing animals. Apparently, Kelly Ripa is much more powerful than I realize. Howie Mandel has apologized to Kelly Ripa. Told you over the weekend that she was reportedly upset with him. Howie apologized, which I just find super curious. I went to pull the audio, but he was speaking very slowly, and it would take about 2 minutes to get to the point, so I'll just tell you. Now, last week, Mark Consuelos on the Live with Kelly and Mark show remarked that Howie Mandel looks great for 70. Kelly Ripa said that age doesn't make any sense. Howie asked, what do you mean it doesn't make any sense? Mark Consuelos said, you look great. Howie cut them off and said, I look great? That doesn't mean anything to me. No, I don't like that because that's a caveat. Kelly said, we're not saying you look great for 70. You look great. Consuelo said, yeah, you look good for a person your age. And Howie fired back, it's like saying you're smart for a stupid person. Well, Howie has now apologized. He posted a video on Instagram. He's on the beach. He's speaking very slowly. Like I said, I pulled it, but it's going to take too long. Howie says, I've been debating for 48 hours whether I should make this post or not. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Philosophically, I don't believe that somebody who's a comedian needs to apologize for a joke. It's a joke. It's meant as a joke. It's not meant to offend. He continued and said, this is for Kelly Ripa, who in the past has been incredibly supportive. Not only have I been a guest on her show, but I've co-hosted with her and I've known her for years. When I go out there, I just try to be entertaining and funny, and sometimes as a comedian, things don't land the way you mean them to land, and I don't know how to say this. But not only do I want to say I'm sorry to Kelly, but, and this is the hardest part, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry I didn't see it that way. After a lot of thought and self-reflection, I do look great for my age. I really do. I look fantastic. Russell Brand's trial on rape and sexual assault charges has been delayed until October. It was supposed to begin starting June 16th. Sky News reports the trial, which will combine all 7 charges brought against Russell Brand in the last year, will now begin on October 12th. It's expected to last 2 months. Josh Johnson will host the 30th annual Webby Awards. Those will be Monday, May 11th. That's Cipriani, Wall Street, New York City. Fancy. Josh Johnson said, I'm really honored to be hosting this year's Webbies. The internet and social media we have can be pretty devastating sometimes, so to come together and celebrate more of the internet we want is a dream. Deadline says the next movie by the great dramatic actor Adam Sandler will be a remake of the 2001 French movie Timeout. The 2001 version tells the story of a man laid off from his job who pretends to go to work every day to avoid telling his family what happened. When Vincent is fired from his job, he can't bring himself to tell his wife and family. Rather than reveal the truth, he spins a web of lies to conceal the situation. He escalates his lies further when he creates an investment scheme and asks friends to contribute. His deception threatens to overwhelm his life and family. I still can't tell if this is serious or a comedy, so I'm looking up to see what the French version was. Wikipedia describes the 2001 film as a drama, in which case I highly support this film. We have to get Sandler the Oscar for Best Actor, otherwise he's going to continue to make crappy comedies. Out today on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel, Megan Gailey is live from my driveway. Jeff Dunham is going to host the series The Cars That Drove Us. The series, mostly recorded in 2025, features people like the worst person who ever lived, Jay Leno, and action star Arnold Schwarzenegger. Each episode features a different machine, including American car classics like the Corvette, the Firebird, and the Hummer, as well as interesting one-offs like the DeLorean. Focused on crazy ideas, big successes, and magnificent failures, The Cars That Drove Us highlight wheels that were each important in their time. Jeff Dunham says, I love cars that were magnificent failures. They were somebody's dreams and ideas and artwork and technological savvy, and they put together these amazing machines, and then for whatever reason, they don't go, but somebody put their heart and soul in these things. Jeff Dunham says he's a collector, not a mechanic. However, while attending college, he built and flew experimental helicopters. Jeff now has a collection that includes roughly 130 vehicles. He says the first exotic car I bought was a 1994 Viper. That car started my interest in all this, and I built a huge collection of cars from there. Some shows going on in Melbourne. Matt Bell's The X-Files, EX-Files, a comedy true crime tour. Melbourne has a dark secret. A crime has been committed, and comedian Matt Bell knows where the bodies are buried. Join Matt Bell as he unravels one of the city's most shocking true asterisk crimes. A tale of desire, obsession, and gay dating gone horribly wrong. How does he know all this? The killer left one loose end. The folks at My Melbourne Arts went to see the show, and they tell us, with each audience member armed with a pair of Bluetooth headphones, Bell guides us through a series of locations tied to the relationship at the center of the story. We move from the bar where the first date occurred to a cinema shaped by a wicked lie, to a restaurant that ends in heartbreak on the most romantic night of the year. Sounds like fun. Sounds like Russell Peters has a little tax issue. People reports that Russell was hit with reassessments totaling more than $2.1 million plus interest for his 2012, 2013, and 2014 tax years. Apparently, California's Franchise Tax Board concluded that Russell was actually a resident of California rather than a resident of Nevada. Russell is blaming his Toronto area chartered professional accountants for the tax woes. The claim reads, at all material times, the defendants, who I guess are the Canadian tax guys, had complete access to the financial, accounting, and personal records necessary to determine Mr. Peters' U.S. residency, including, without limitation, his California property ownership, travel patterns, vehicle leases, and time spent in California, from which his true residency status would have been readily ascertainable by competent accounting and tax professionals. This gets very complicated very quickly, and I will let the lawyers determine what's what. Gabe Iglesias was on Club Shay Shay. He talked about using Ozempic. He said, I started losing weight, but the problem with Ozempic is you're going to lose more muscles than fat. He said he lost the muscles around his shoulders, which he dislikes. He also said he was approached with a freaking incredible deal of a $1 million offer to act as the official face of Ozempic. He said, Ozempic reached out to me many years ago. Even though it was a $1 million deal, I couldn't do it. He said it would have caused scheduling conflicts with his tour. Who knows? Maybe he was on his way to Riyadh, and I don't have his calendar. And that is your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.